5 things you never knew about Michael Jackson's childhood. We all know Michael Jackson as the king of pop. The moonwalk, the glove, the screams from thousands of fans, the legendary songs, but before the fame, before the sold-out stadium, before Thriller changed music forever, Michael Jackson was just a little boy from Gary, Indiana, trying to survive childhood. And honestly, some parts of his childhood were so intense that they sound like scenes from a movie. Today, we're diving into 5 emotional, surprising, and lesser-known stories from Michael Jackson's early life. And trust me, the last one completely changed the way he saw the world forever. Let's enter the world of Darklore. Number 5. The house that was too small. Imagine becoming one of the biggest entertainers in human history while growing up in a tiny house with 9 siblings. Yep, Michael Jackson was born on August 29, 1958, in Gary, Indiana, USA. And life was not glamorous, not even close. The Jackson family lived in a very small 2-bedroom house. 9 children, 2 parents, 1 bathroom. Now imagine trying to sleep peacefully while your brothers are fighting over who ate the last slice of bread. That house probably sounded like a WWE match every morning. Michael later said he barely had privacy as a child. The family struggled financially, and entertainment became more than just fun. It became survival. His father, Joseph Jackson, worked long hours at a steel mill. But at night, the house transformed into a rehearsal studio, and little Michael was expected to perform perfectly. Even as a child, at just 5 years old, Michael was already showing unbelievable talent. But while most kids his age were outside playing tag, Michael was memorizing dance moves and vocal harmonies. And that pressure would follow him for the rest of his life. Number 4. The child who was afraid of making mistakes. Michael Jackson didn't grow up like most children. There were no normal weekends, no lazy Saturday cartoons, no peaceful afternoons. Rehearsals were serious business in the Jackson household. If the brothers missed dance steps, their father reportedly disciplined them harshly. Now, whether every story told over the years is fully accurate or not, one thing is clear. Michael's childhood involved intense pressure. Imagine being 8 years old and practicing dance routines for hours while other kids are outside riding bicycles. Meanwhile, little Michael is inside trying not to miss a single beat. That's actually wild when you think about it. At an age when most kids are learning multiplication tables, Michael was already learning stage performance psychology. And here's the crazy part. It worked. By age 11, the Jackson 5 exploded in popularity. Songs like I Want You Back, A BC, and I'll Be There turned Michael into a global child superstar. But fame came fast. Too fast. Michael later admitted that parts of his childhood felt lonely. Very lonely. Because while millions loved him on stage, he still felt like he missed being a normal kid. Number 3. Michael secretly loved childish things. Now this one is both funny and honestly kind of sad. As Michael grew older, he became obsessed with things many adults thought were childish. Cartoons, arcades, toys, theme parks, water balloon fights. Basically, Michael Jackson wanted to reclaim the childhood he never fully experienced. And honestly, can you blame him? Imagine spending your childhood inside recording studios while other kids are outside eating ice cream and falling off bicycles. Of course, you'd eventually want that experience back. That's part of why he later created Neverland Ranch. To many people, it looks strange, but psychologically, it also reflected someone trying to rebuild lost childhood memories. And here's something funny to imagine. While other celebrities were buying sports cars, Michael Jackson was probably excited about roller coasters and cartoon statues. That contrast made him one of the most unique celebrities in history. But underneath all the laughter and fantasy, there was still emotional pain, because fame had already changed him forever. Number 2. The nose comments that hurt him. Now this part gets emotional. As a teenager, Michael began developing severe insecurities about his appearance, especially during puberty. He reportedly struggled with acne and became extremely self-conscious. And according to interviews over the years, Certain comments deeply affected his confidence. Imagine being a teenager, already famous worldwide, and having millions of people constantly looking at your face. That pressure alone would destroy most people mentally. Michael once explained that harsh comments made him embarrassed and withdrawn. He sometimes hid from cameras, avoided mirrors, and became uncomfortable with attention outside performing, which is ironic because the world saw him as larger than life. But internally, he was still a young man dealing with insecurity. That emotional battle would later influence many parts of his life in public image. And honestly, that's something many people forget. Behind the superstar was still a human being. Number 1. The secret that changed everything. Now here's the deepest part of all. Michael Jackson once said that, despite all the fame, he often felt isolated. Think about this carefully. By the age most people are stressing about school exams, Michael Jackson was already performing in front of screaming crowds worldwide. Millions adored him. But fame can create distance. And sometimes, the higher a person rises, the lonelier life becomes. Michael later described moments where he felt emotionally disconnected from normal life. No normal childhood, no ordinary friendships, no real privacy, just cameras, tours, rehearsals, expectations, over and over again. And maybe that's why his music connected with so many people. Because underneath the legendary performances, there was real emotion, real loneliness, real vulnerability. Songs like Childhood, Man in the Mirror, and Heal the World felt personal because they came from genuine emotion. And that's the part many people miss. Michael Jackson wasn't just performing songs. Sometimes he was performing pieces of his own life. From a tiny house in Gary, Indiana, to becoming one of the most famous entertainers in human history, Michael Jackson's story was inspiring, emotional, complicated, and unforgettable. But maybe the biggest mystery wasn't the fame. Maybe it was the little boy behind the spotlight, the child who wanted to sing, dance, and simply be understood. This is Darklore, and every legend has a dark story.